Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing today? My name is Jen, and welcome to another wonderful Aquarium Online Academy. Joining me today is actually my colleague Sarah. And not only Sarah is here today, but also I have other colleagues too, like our fishy friends right here. So I'm very excited for you to join us today. We're going to be focusing on counting. So hopefully have those numbers in your head because we are going to be counting a lot of different things. Not the school of fish, that's for sure, because there are too many of them and they are moving around. That would be like an advanced counting class. Today, we're just focusing on the basics. All right, so if you'd like to join us, we would love to have you participate. You're welcome to just count along with us if you prefer, but you can also go on ahead and ask us any questions that you might have. Doesn't have to be just about numbers, it could be about animals too. Um, and feel free to just kind of come along and join in our conversations. So if you'd like to go on ahead and text us, you can do so right here at 562-286-1838. Or if it's easier for you to just email questions, you're more than welcome to do so at live@lbaop.org. I must say though that we check our email every day, but we check our text line during our program right now pretty frequently. So if you do have questions that you or just want answered right away, feel free to go on ahead and text us in right now. We'll be able to look at that text line for the next half hour from 9 to about 9:30 or so for our program today on June 17th. My goodness, June is already halfway over. All right, friends. So hopefully you got your eyes ready to go. Maybe you might need your hands to be able to count. But today we are going to get a chance to learn a little bit about some of these wonderful ocean animals here and also count along the way. And sometimes counting on not only just the types of animals that we see, or maybe all the same kinds of animals that we see, but we also might be able to count different features on an animal too. And since we are all scientists today, yes, even you are a scientist. We are going to get a chance to be able to use our numbers today to help us learn more about these animals. Are you ready? I'm pretty excited. Might be because I had a lot of coffee at 5 a.m. this morning, but I am so ready to count. All right, friends. Now, hi, so with Sarah, she actually sits next to me in my office, and I wanted to celebrate her today just because. And so, as a little treat, I'm having her pick all of the animals today that we are going to count. So when you see it, it'll be my first time too. So Sarah, what's going to be our first little habitat with animals that we have in it? What's she going to choose? Oh, she's going simple and classic. What do we have here, my friends? I'm going to step off the screen so you can see this beautiful, beautiful animal that we have here. What do we have? It is a sea star, right? So we have a sea star right here. And what are some things that you happen to notice on our sea star? I notice that the background matches beautifully with the color of our sea star. I'm seeing some white on our sea star right here. I'm seeing some almost like light purple right around here as well. What other colors do you notice? Orange. I see a lot of orange too. Now, of course, you're like, well, Jen, it's counting, and I counted first. That is great. Now, we are going to be counting this whole sea star right here. How many sea stars do we have? Just one. I think she's starting easy for us. All right, but there's a special feature on our sea star that helps it to look like a star. Now, in this case, I think the star looks like it's kind of sitting down. But if we go on ahead and we count how many arms our sea star has, let's go on ahead and count together. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 arms our sea star has. If you want to go on ahead and be a sea star, go on ahead and pretend you're one too. We have 1 arm here, 2 arm here, 3 arm here, 4 arm here, and my 5th one right there, right? So we could go on ahead and be a sea star too. Now, all of these little friends right here help it to be able to move around by all of the little feet that we can actually see right below. And that's what helps it to stick. That's what helps it to move. That's what helps it to breathe, which is pretty incredible. Now, if we go ahead and we look at the sea star, very beautiful. But do you see any eyes on the sea star? Hmm, not really. Do you see a mouth on the sea star? Not so much. So how does the sea star know how to eat, where to move, where to go? Any thoughts on that? If you have a guess, feel free to go on ahead and talk to a friend about what you think. Where do you think it might have, well, a mouth? It doesn't really have eyes, but it definitely has a mouth. Do you think it's on top or on bottom? What do you think? Top has a mouth on this side, or do you think it might be underneath? I wonder if Sarah can maybe show us which side it might be on, top or underneath. You see a mouth now? I only see a tummy. That's right, friends. This is actually the stomach of our sea star right here. Sea stars eat lots of different kinds of foods, but mostly the types of food that they eat are animals that have two shells. So if you have your hands right here, you turn them into cups, put them together. Now you have like a mussel or a clam, an animal that has two shells. And with all of these little tube feet, that these are the ones that help them move and stick to things and help them to breathe, all those little tube feet are like suction cups. And what they'll do is they'll grip on to both sides of that clam or that mussel, and they'll open it up just a little bit to get their stomach inside. Yeah, pretty crazy, right? So they will take their stomach out of their mouth and they will turn the inside of that clam or that mussel into like a smoothie, a breakfast clam smoothie. And then it will suck it all up and then tuck its stomach back inside its mouth and off it will go. Pretty amazing, huh? What a cool animal. Now, we did mention that it doesn't have any eyes, but it does have eye spots at the very tips of all of their arms. So if you wanted to see like a sea star, you kind of can. You can close your eyes, and when you have your eyes closed, you are seeing like a sea star sees, either at the top of the water or maybe during daytime. But if a sea star is under a rock, you can put your hands over your eyes while your eyes are closed, and that'll be like how a sea star sees if it's underneath a rock. It'll just be dark or brighter out. And that's pretty much it. They can't see colors or shapes, but they can only see light and dark. So, really simple, but this animal's been around for quite some time. Wow, sea stars. Now, here at the Aquarium of the Pacific, we're actually having a sea star summer right now. And so you're always welcome to come on down and visit us to check out all the different kinds of sea stars. There are so many varieties, and I think that's one of the fun thing about sea stars is even though we're just counting one sea star right now, and we're counting how many arms there are, we can also count the amount of sea stars, and that can tell us some really interesting things about how healthy our ocean or our habitat, their home, just might be. All right, so let's see what Sarah has up for us next. This is pretty fun. Now, friends, maybe if there's a certain animal that you are interested in us counting, we would love to hear from you. Feel free to just text that animal on in at 562-286-1838. I must say, we have pictures for a lot of ocean animals. So if you're asking for like a baboon, that may be kind of tricky. We don't have a whole lot of baboons here, but we definitely have a lot of fish. We definitely have a lot of those. A lot of slugs, a lot of snails, some great critters out there in the ocean. All right, let's go on ahead and see what Sarah has ready for us next. Oh my goodness! No baboons, but we do have lorikeets. Oh, that's Sarah, always keeping me on my toes. I love it. I'm a big fan. Now you're probably wondering, well, Jen, you mentioned not really land animals, but here's the thing. Part of the reason why we have two lorikeets that we have right here is because these lorikeets live in a rainforest in Australia. And so because they live in a tropical forest environment, they happen to live right where the forest and the ocean kind of interact, where they kind of get a chance to, in a way, be with each other. And so whatever happens on land actually affects a lot of the ocean. So here at the Aquarium of the Pacific, even though we do focus on a lot of ocean animals, we do talk a lot about birds, actually, specifically. We have a lot of different kind of birds here, and that's because birds are really helpful in spreading different seeds around that they eat, and helping to sometimes pollinate different flowers, and actually building healthy coral reefs. Some birds do that, and just a healthy ocean environment. So even though a lot of times birds we think about on land, like our lorikeets here, they actually have a really strong connection to the ocean. And these lorikeets, they're hard not to love. Look at their colors. What do you all notice? What colors do you see? You're welcome to talk to a neighbor if you happen to have one nearby. Unless you have to, walk on over and knock on their door. But I'm talking about more like a friend that may be near you. Or you can go on ahead, talk to your pet worm if you happen to have one. I have two right now in my garden. They're very happy. They're having a good time, right? But here, I know that I am seeing lots of kind of like a bluish purple. That's really pretty, huh? And then I'm seeing some like sunset colors right here. So I'm seeing reds, oranges. Any other colors that you're seeing? I always think of this as kind of like a highlighter yellow. What a cool color to have on a bird. And that bright, vibrant green, that bright green that we're seeing here. There's even kind of like some hot pinks in here too. There's a lot of beautiful colors and a little bit of a red eyeball, right? So there's lots of beautiful colors that are on our lorikeets right here. And here, I'm going to step off the screen. You can see them. One of them is cleaning the other one, showing, oh, hey, you might have a little bit of nectar on here. And yes, I said nectar because these birds are what we like to call nectivores, meaning that their main food is nectar. Well, what do you think they get nectar from? Hmm. Well, not sodas, that's for sure. But they'll get nectar from flowers. And so these animals, as they are in their forest habitat, right, they're going to get a chance to blend in with a lot of beautiful, colorful flowers, which is part of the reason they're so colorful. And with that, they're able to fly from basically flower to flower that has sweet, delicious nectar inside, and they're able to use their tongue to be able to get that. Now, the crazy thing is, their tongue actually looks like a paintbrush, if you will. And it's very, very fuzzy to be able to sop up all those little bits of nectar so that way it can keep eating and keep pooping. These birds, they love to poop because they mainly eat most of their day. Can't blame them, right? But they are just living their best life and taking care of one another, which is always lovely to see. So, 1, 2, lorikeets. All right, Sarah, what do you have for us next? Don't tell me it's an orangutan. Ah, something else, a lovely beast of the ocean right here. She is mighty, she is Grace. All right, so what animal do we have here? Octopus, exactly. And not just any octopus, friends. This is a giant Pacific octopus. This right here can get up to many pounds. I want to say like 50 or so. I don't recall the exact weight, but they are the largest octopus that we have. And they can have up to 250 suction cups per arm. Now, since we are a counting class, let's go on ahead and get started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just kidding. We're not going to count 250 suction cups just on one arm. We're going to count how many arms an octopus has. So if you had to think about an octopus, can you think about maybe how many arms an octopus might have? What do you think? What number kind of comes to mind? For me, I'm thinking 8. For me, I usually kind of think of octopus has 8 arms. Were you thinking that number too? Let's go on ahead and count to see if we are right. Are you ready? All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey, we were right. They have 8 arms. Good job, us. All right, give yourself a pat on the back. So our octopus has 8 arms. And with 250 suction cups per arm, if you want to do the math, you can. But there are a lot of suction cups on this animal right here. My goodness, there's probably close to about well, let's say 500,000, 2,000 suction cups on our octopus here, roughly, right? So that's a lot of suction cups. So for an animal that has so many suction cups, what do you think they do for an octopus? Any guesses? What do you notice the octopus is doing here? Well, it looks like it's kind of saying, hello, I am a giant Pacific octopus. Look at how amazing I am. And honestly, I can't blame it. It does look pretty amazing. But what our octopus is doing here is it is sticking onto the glass. And it's tricky to see because the glass is clear. What we have is acrylic that we have on each one of our exhibits here at the aquarium, their little habitats. And so it's actually sticking onto the glass that we have right here. Sarah, do you happen to have a video that showcases those suction cups in all of its glory? All right, so she's gonna look for that real quick, little special treat for us. But now these suction cups really kind of help it to stick and to move around. Now our giant Pacific octopuses normally live in cool waters off of the Pacific Northwest. So we're thinking cooler like, parts of Oregon, Washington, Alaska. Ooh, those cold, frigid waters, right? Where you would definitely need a lot of layers to be able to dive into that water to just be able to hang out with such a wonderful, incredible octopus. Now, that octopus can span quite large from tip to tip, but here we have her in motion right now. So you can see she's slowly using those suction cups. And just take a minute to just watch her in all her glory. How is she using those suction cups? Mm. You seeing what I'm seeing aside from her really cool eyeball right there, right? But she's using those suction cups to definitely move up and down. Some things that we can't see is that they also use it to taste. Yeah. So as she is actively putting those suction cups up on all of those surfaces, she's tasting her environment all around her. She's actually tasting it where she's going. Would you like that kind of superpower to be able to taste everything you put your hands on? I don't know if I would want that. There may be some weird tastes out there, but I think it's a really cool way for these animals to be able to explore where they're living and maybe see, ooh, there is a little hint of a tasty crab out there. I'm going to try to follow and see where that may lead me to, see if I can find that tasty crab. Now, their eyeballs are specially made in a way that they can see on the sea floor. Because could you imagine this octopus just kind of swimming like a fish every day? I mean, it can kind of move around like a fish a little bit, but these animals like to go on ahead and crawl as we see here, right? So using those suction cups to be able to move around and to crawl around. You think you could go on ahead and move like an octopus? Go on ahead and try. You're doing a great job out there. Unless I'm the only one. Then that might be awkward. But I believe there's probably a few more octopus out there. All right. Maybe you want to wiggle out those arms a little bit more. Very nice, friend. All right. So our octopus here has 8 arms. Now, I would say on average, most of them do. But not all of them will have the 250 suction cups per arm. That is special to our giant Pacific octopus. Now, these animals also happen to be really smart, so I don't know if Sarah was thinking what I'm thinking, but we can see them in action, maybe using those suction cups to be able to get a special treat. Now, these animals are incredibly smart, and here at the Aquarium of the Pacific, we always try to take the best care of our animals. And so we do that one way by providing something called, excuse me, enrichment. Enrichment is something that really kind of helps our animals stay happy and healthy by keeping their mind engaged, meaning that keeps them into solving puzzles and having fun. And one way, I don't know about you, but I really like food. And so one thing that they can do is have like a food puzzle or find their food in a very special way. And this is one way that they do so. So I'm going to step out and I will talk to you about what our octopus here is looking at. So here, right over here in this boat, there is a crab. It is not alive. This crab is no longer living, but it is inside of that boat. Now, crab juices were smeared on the outside, so that way our octopus friend knows that there is something delicious inside here. It can smell it a little bit. And as we go on ahead and look, you might see your octopus changing textures where it's getting a little bit more spiky, but also changing colors. So I'm going to let you watch and feel free to talk to a neighbor if you like about things that you're noticing. Or if you want to write it down or just watch, that works too. Wow. So our octopus is a little cautious. And it's a little shy and it's getting closer now. You see those suction cups? It's now tasting that boat and all around it. Wow. Now, since we're counting class, how many crabs do you see in there? I only count one crab. Yes, very good, friends. Now, I'm going to take that crab and that boat. There it goes. Its mouth is actually in between all of those 8 arms. Oh, look how happy our octopus is. Again, changing colors and texture. She's a little bit more pokey. Oh, she took the crab and left the boat. And she's saying, goodbye, everyone. I'm going to continue my meal inside of my den. Yes, an octopus can have a den. Nice little cave that they could go on ahead and call their own. How fun! Ooh, I'm so excited to see what Sarah's next animal might be. Again, friends, if you ever want to go ahead and and I must say, recognize any of these fun friends? Did you say whale? You probably said dolphin, right? Yes, they are a dolphin. We have how many of them? One, two, three, four. And what do you notice them doing right now? They're leaping out of the water and coming back down in. That one just went in head first, right? I guess they all would, since one side's a head and one side's a tail. But these friends are actually whales. Yes, dolphins are considered whales. They're considered toothed whales, meaning that they have teeth to be able to eat their food, like fish, for instance, right? So we're seeing four of these dolphin right here, four of these toothed whales. And they are just kind of having a good time and they are splashing around, right? So if we go on ahead and we look at them, we can kind of get a feeling for how many fins that they might have on them. So let's go on ahead and count how many fins that we could see. Let's go on ahead and use maybe this one as an example. We have one, two, three, and actually there's four. There's another one of these on the other side, right? So we have four fins on our dolphin right here, but they actually all do different things. Any thoughts to what this back fin, this tail fin right here does for our dolphin? I don't know if we have a video to be able to show them swimming. We'll see if there's one that happens to be available. Sarah is also in charge of our whale watch program here, so I know she's very much in tune with these animals and knowing what kind of media happens to be available for us. Now, these dolphins are local to our coastline. So actually, if you're in California and a lot of times you're sitting on the beaches, you have a decent chance of actually seeing a dolphin in our waters if you're just looking in the surf, which is pretty kind of cool to just be able to see a toothed whale just right off the water right there. So it's really kind of a unique and fun opportunity, and it helps me to feel a little bit more connected with our oceans too. All right, I'm going to step off the screen and we can watch them. Wow, what do you notice? Oh, I'm seeing them as they're just kind of moving, right? They're using that head motion and they're really kind of going up and down and swimming all around. So if you had to think about that back tail fin, do you think that's the one that's really helping push them through that water? Absolutely. Yes. And so if that back tail fin's the one that's just basically going up and down and moving them through, what do you think those two side fins might help them to do? Any guesses on that? Hmm. Maybe it might help them with the direction that they're going in. And we can see them as I step off, right? They're not always like going in one straight line. They're kind of bobbing around, maybe turning a little bit left, maybe turning a little bit right. It's just a little bit different in how they're able to move around, which is really kind of fun. See all of these dolphins in the water. Wow, very cool. All right, what a way to make a splash! Haha! Forward towards the end of our program. So let's go on ahead and recap about some of our animals. Today we went ahead and we started with a sea star, right? We all had a chance to make our own sea stars today. We learned that they have those 5 arms that really kind of help them to just be a star shape. But on those arms, they have all those little tube feet or all those almost suction cup like parts that help them to stick, to move, to open up those animals with 2 shells, to then be able to take their tummies out of their mouth and to eat the animals, clams or mussels, with their stomach, which is pretty incredible. And then we had a chance to look at 2 lorikeets with their beautiful colors and that cool tongue that they use to grab nectar from those different flowers, and talk a little bit about how birds actually help out our ocean backyard right here, which is pretty incredible. Then we had a chance to go and learn about eels. Eels. We talked about eels. 6 eels, as a matter of fact. And an octopus as well. Probably octopus, then eel, if my memory serves me right. And with those eels, we saw them using their small little mouths, eating the plankton where the current was coming from. They're using their cute, strong little bodies to be able to move up and down to grab that food with their kind of big mouth that they had, even though they were such a small animal. We learned about our giant Pacific octopus that has suction cups, 250 of them on each of one of its 8 arms, which is pretty incredible. We learned how those suction cups on those arms help our octopus to move, help it to be able to taste things, and help it to bring that delicious crab into the middle where its mouth is located. And then we had a chance to talk a little bit about these dolphin friends right here, which are always a good time, and learning that they are toothed whales. So they're actually a type of whale that we can see off of our coast if you happen to live in California, which is pretty neat to be able to see them bob up and down and use those different fins for different purposes. And there are definitely more than I can count in this. Kudos to you if you want to count things, count these. But I would have to say, if I'm not mistaken, Sarah, a general rule of thumb is that however many you see on top is also however many that you cannot see that are also underneath ish, thereabouts. Sarah's kind of saying, yeah, kind of close. Oh, 3 to 5 for everyone on the surface. I was very wrong. All right, thank you, Sarah. It's good to know that. I'm always learning new things too. So thank you, friends, for joining us today. We really appreciate your time and counting along with us. Again, if you have any other questions, you're welcome now to email us down below at live@lbaop.org. And we'll see you next time for our 10 a.m. program where we're going to be drawing, or I should say, Sarah's going to be the one drawing. I don't know what it is. It's going to be amazing regardless. We'd love to have you join us, and we will see you next time. Thanks, friends. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.